Hi, boys and girls. Miss Debbie here. Today I have two stories about wolves. Do you love stories about wolves? I have friends who absolutely love stories about wolves, and so do I. So, without further ado, one of my favorite stories in the whole world is called The Wolf's Chicken Stew by Keiko Kasza. And look at the wolf. He's got a cookbook in his hand and a chef's hat on his head, and he's eyeing chicken. Do you like chicken stew? Well, guess what? Chicken stew comes from chickens. Oh, published by G.P. Putnam's Sons in New York. It's a lovely story. There once lived a wolf who loved to eat more than anything else in the world. As soon as he finished one meal, he began to think of the next. I often think of this wolf when I'm eating, planning my next meal. Can you tell what he's eating on his plate? Fish. Yep, there's a gravy dish. He's dreaming about his next meal. One day, the wolf got a terrible craving for chicken stew. All day long, he walked across the forest in search of a delicious chicken. Finally, he spotted one. She is just perfect for my stew, he thought. The wolf crept closer, but just as he was about to grab his prey, he had another idea. If there were just some way to fatten this bird a little more, he thought, there would be all the more stew for me. So the wolf ran home to his kitchen and he began to cook. I love this picture. Look at his lips. He is whistling. And look at how he holds open the cookbook with his foot. I just think that's so funny. First, he made 100 scrumptious pancakes. Then, late at night, he left them on the chicken's porch. "Eat well, my pretty chicken," he cried. "Get nice and fat for my stew." The next night, he brought 100 scrumptious donuts. "Eat well, my pretty chicken," he cried. "Get nice and fat for my stew." And on the next night, he brought a scrumptious cake weighing 100 pounds. "Eat well, my pretty chicken," he cried. "Get nice and fat for my stew." At last, all was ready. This was the night he had been waiting for. He put a large stew pot on the fire and set out joyfully to find his dinner. "That chicken must be as fat as a house by now," he thought. "Let's see." But as he peeked into the chicken's house through the keyhole, the door opened suddenly and the chicken screeched, "Oh, so it was you, Mr. Wolf." Children, look. The pancakes and the donuts and that scrumptious cake, they weren't from Santa Claus. All those presents were from Uncle Wolfie. Look at him. The baby chicks jumped all over the wolf and gave him 100 kisses. "Oh, thank you, Uncle Wolfie. You're the best cook in the world." Uncle Wolf didn't have chicken stew that night, but Mrs. Chicken fixed him a nice dinner anyway. "Aw, shucks," he thought as he walked home. "Maybe tomorrow I'll bake the little critters 100 scrumptious cookies." And he did. The end. I love this book. One of my favorites. All her books, Keiko Kasza books, are good. Now, here is another favorite author of mine, Helen Lester. And Her favorite illustrator is Lynn Munsinger. You would know Helen Lester. Well, she writes the books about Tacky the Penguin and Pinkerton the Pig and Buddy the Bunny who didn't listen. This is called The Sheep in Wolf's Clothing. So the way the traditional story goes is that the wolf dresses up like a sheep to pretend he's a good guy and get involved, and then he shows his real teeth. So we often hear the saying, a wolf in sheep's clothing. But this is the sheep in wolf's clothing. A twist on the story, published by Houghton Mifflin. And here's the sheep dressing up in the wolf costume. We could tell. We know who's in that costume. Utopia, now a ewe is a lamb. Utopia was not comfortable in her own wool. She always needed to hide in an outfit and spent a fortune on her clothes, but no one paid any attention. She attempted to dazzle the rams, the boys, but rambunctious, ramshackle, and Rumpelstiltskin barely blinked. She even tried to shock the other ewes, but Eucalyptus, Utensil, and Hey You hardly noticed. This lack of attention annoyed Utopia like a bad itch. Then one fine day, she received an invitation to the Woolly Ones' costume ball. Yes, here was her chance. She'd have the finest costume in Pastureland and outshine them all. Every fluffy one. Ha! Don't you love to say that word? Ha! So there. In a frenzy of excitement, Utopia tried on 57 costumes. Her clothes-changing muscles were aching, almost worn out, when she put on outfit number 58. That settled it. This was the one. Eureka! She loved the warmth of the fur, the shine of the fangs, and especially the way the long clawed paws swung attractively when she walked. Everyone would notice her now. I guess so, if you're going to a sheep's ball and you look like a wolf. Because wolves like to eat sheep, not just chickens. On the eve of the Woolly Ones' costume ball, Utopia arrived with her heart aflutter. She waited for someone to invite her to dance, and waited and waited. And while she waited, the ewes and rams did sheep trots and waltzes and gathered in small groups to whisper and point. Shh, bad taste, remarked Eucalyptus and Utensil. Shh, faulty judgment, added Hey You. Shh, one wonders what sort of family she comes from, wondered Rambunctious and Ramshackle. Shh, cotton-brained idea, pronounced Rumpelstiltskin. Nobody wanted to talk to her or dance to her. They thought her costume idea was pretty shabby. Then, all of a sudden, as the sheep waltzed and whispered and Utopia waited, a stranger entered the ballroom. A handsome stranger, a charming sheepish grin, and wool so lovely it looked fake. Because it is fake. The sheep were so taken with the beauty of this creature, none stopped to wonder why a sheep would go to a costume ball dressed as a sheep. The flock gawked. What do you think is in that costume? Utopia approached the stranger. The stranger approached Utopia. From under his sheep costume, the newcomer could see the fur, the fangs, and the long, sharp claws. It had to be. In a low, growly voice, he exclaimed, "Mother!" Mother? Beneath her costume, Utopia blinked. Mother? She knitted her eyebrows, a sheep thing. "Mother," growled the creature. "I thought you were away on a lamb hunt." Lamb hunt? Utopia found this puzzling, but she did need a partner, so their dance began. "Ah, mother, mother," the stranger growled in one ear. "I've missed your home cooking," he growled in the other, "especially the ewe stew with ram ramen." Then he growled in both ears, "Let us grab a couple of fat, woolly ones, leave this silly ball, go home, and dine on sheep." Utopia sensed that something was wrong. Dine on sheep? What kind of a creep would dine on sheep? For the first time, Utopia noticed her ex-partner's long, sharp claws and extremely hairy feet. She had not been dancing with a sheep dressed as a sheep at all. Oh no, she had been dancing with a real wolf, big, bad, and mistaking her for his mother. This varmint posed a danger not only to her, but to all those in the ballroom. Indeed, he did. For just then he ripped off his costume and growled, "Come on, mother, let's eat." With that, he snatched eucalyptus, utensil, and hey you, and stuffed them into a sack. The woolly ones gasped in horror and ran for their lives. What to do? No time for woolly-brained thoughts. Utopia paced in circles. "Mother, mother, mother, he thinks I'm his mother." Then she stood up as straight as she could in her foolish costume, lowered her voice to a growl, and announced, "Sonny dearest, I have a surprise for you." "Surprise?" growled the wolf. He loved surprises and would have squealed with delight, but wolves aren't good at squealing. Utopia needed to stall for time, so she hadn't the foggiest idea what the surprise might be, so she tried to think of motherly things to say. "First, my son, before the surprise, you must take a bath, clean your claws, and brush your fangs." Bath, clean claws, brush fangs. Ooh. The wolf moaned. "Oh, Ma." "After that, you must do your homework, all of it." The wolf whined, "Mommy." "Then, sonny boy, you must pick up your room." That did it. He threw himself onto the floor into a full-blown, out-of-control tantrum. I won't, he kicked his feet. "You can't make me," he pounded his furry fists. "I don't have to, so there, so there, so there." So great was his tantrum that within less than a minute he was completely exhausted and unable to move. It was then that Utopia knew what the surprise would be. She flipped off her furry costume, bent over the helpless wolf, and announced, "Surprise! I'm a you." The wolf opened one eye. "You're not a me. I'm a me. You're a you." "That's what I said," Utopia smiled. "I'm a you." "Who's a you?" The wolf was flustered. And Utopia repeated, "I'm a you." This was too much for the wolf's small brain to process. Muttering, "I'm not a you, you're a you, I'm a me, I came in as a me, and I'll leave as a me," he dragged his weary self to the floor, to the door, and forgetting all about dinner. He paused and gave one last howl. "And I'll never, ever, ever pick up my room. With a stomp and a thomp, he was gone. Eucalyptus, utensil, and hey you scrambled out of the sack and hugged Utopia. Everyone in the ballroom sang out, "What kind of a creep would dine on a sheep?" For the rest of the evening, Utopia had a ball. Helen Lester always has these creatures that save the day. She danced with Eucalyptus, Rambunctious, Utensil, and Ramshackle, and Hey You, and Rampelstiltskin, and she felt entirely comfortable in her own wool. The end. Well, thanks for joining me for 2 wolf stories. If you like them, let me know. Come to the library and tell me. I'd love to see you. Come on, come to the library. Bye for now.